Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for our Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. And we're talking about SmackDown, January 12, 2024. Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves on commentary, the two-man commentary team, which I like. Three's a little much, but if it works, it works. I like the two-man crew. We're in Lincoln, Nebraska for this big SmackDown. We were supposed to get Grayson Waller versus Cameron Grimes, but Cameron Grimes was attacked by the Bloodline before he could come out as Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were waiting in the ring. And they just laughed and said, ha, ha, ha. And Paul Heyman's there, and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory take off. Paul Heyman cuts a promo. You know, he's saying that because Nick Aldis comes out too after they beat down Cameron Grimes, trying to get everything in order. And I love Nick Aldis as the SmackDown GM. I really do. And Paul's like, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He put your tribal chief in a fatal four-way at the Royal Rumble. He did that. You know, he needs to be the one that needs to be booed and blah, 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 blah. And Nick Aldis is like, okay. And then I like what Paul called him. He called him a fake James Bond. But that fake James Bond put him in his place because he says, okay, well, we'll have AJ Styles, LA Knight, yeah, and Randy Orton versus the Bloodline, Jimmy, Solo, and Roman Reigns. Crowd pops, and Paul's like, he tried to take the mic from Nick, and Nick wouldn't let him have it. And he's like, and he holds the mic, and they're both holding it, and he's like, Paul's like, you know damn well that Roman is not here. And Nick's like, oh yeah, well maybe you guys can find a partner and see who can team up with you for this triple threat match, or it'll just end up being a 3-on-2 handicap match. Good day. And that's the thread throughout the SmackDown show. And I gotta say, that is such a great little story niche. Just like, who is willing to team up with the Bloodline when they've beaten down everybody and caused so much bad blood and friction? It's like, will they get a partner? We shall see. Jimmy's backstage with Solo and Paul, and they're like, who are you gonna get, huh? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And Jimmy's like, I'm worried, Oos. And Solo's like, I'm not worried. And Paul's like, I will go find somebody. There's a locker room full of talent. Someone wants to team with us. I will go find somebody. So Paul goes on a mission. Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde versus Angel and Humberto with Santos Escobar on commentary. Awesome match. This is my match of the night. I'm going to say that right off the back. These four did really well. And Carlito comes out, and I love how Santos Escobar says Carlito. You know, he's got that little bit of swag in his voice now. He's got that chip on his shoulder, and he's a mean bastard. And that's Santos Escobar. And he talks about Familia, you know, how his Familia turned on him. Cruz and Joaquin, they've been having quite the run. I'm glad. They just been background noise pretty much with the LWO, and I'm glad they're getting some shine. They got some shine on NXT. If you saw that crazy spot at New Year's Evil that they did. But Angel and Humberto got the win. But while this is all happening, this match is happening, here comes Carlito. He attacks Santos. He takes Santos out. I thought this is where Cruz and Joaquin was going to get the win. But no, Angel and Humberto got the win. So keeping this tag team alive. We have Carmelo backstage with Nick Aldis. You know, they're talking about opportunities and stuff, and how Carmelo's about to mention the Royal Rumble. Then here comes Waller and Austin Theory. Sets up a little bit of Carmelo's like, what the hell are you guys doing here? And you know, he's like, I beat you too many times, like, you know. And then and Waller's like, yeah. Well, you want to go one-on-one? And Carmelo's like, yeah, let's do that. And Nick is like, I like that idea. And I like what Waller did. He goes, oh, hey, I just had a match, you know, warmed up. I'm cooled down now. But Austin Theory will do it. And Austin's like, oh, I will? So we got Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes later on in the show. Paul Heyman's backstage. He runs into LWO with Carlito and Zelina. He's like, hey, Carlito. He pulls out this apple, shines it up. He's like, hey, man, you know what? You know what would be cool if you help us tonight enjoy the Bloodline, get that frustration of yours out after with Santos Escobar. And he's like, no, I want Santos Escobar. And he takes the apple away from Paul. And Paul's like, the apple was the deal breaker with a yes and the apple combined as a package. God damn it, you took the apple. Great stuff. KO Logan Paul from last week, and Logan Paul cuts a promo right afterwards, and he talks about how he's going to take KO, not to the ring, to the courtroom. Yeah, he ain't fucking around. He's like, hey, that cast, the shiner you gave me because of that cast, that's a weapon. So so that's the angle we're going to be running with this. Don't worry, KO answers later on. We have Butch and Tyler at the coffee bar, drinking some coffee, just sitting there talking about how Tyler's like, hey, Butch, we had such a great time beating up Pretty Deadly last week. Let's team up again. Let's make something. And Butch is like, no, I need to find something. I need to, Brawling Brutes is behind me. He said it. This is behind me. I need to find something. And Tyler's like, hey, come on, man. Me and you are friends. We know. And Tyler said something in this promo where I was like, wait, what? He's like, you need to find yourself. And he points to Butch. He goes, you need to find yourself and what your name is going to be. And I was like, are we getting Pete back? Are we getting Pete back? Oh, my gosh. I know it's just a name. But Butch, I remember when they gave him the name Butch, I was so pissed. I was like, what? What? And they teamed him up with Sheamus automatically and everything like that. But I think him getting his real name back is definitely going to give him that push that we've been waiting for. So, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Damage control on the outside. This was a fun match as well. Bianca Belair got the win. Yeah, I think more of the storytelling here is Bayley's failure to take out Bianca. Also, too, there was a spot that I found interesting when Bayley was trying to distract the ref and Bianca got thrown out. Bayley was like telling Damage Control, like, yeah, kick her ass, and Damage Control didn't do it because I don't think she's the leader anymore. I think our champ there is the leader, and she's taking that role very serious. And Bianca got the win, and they go backstage, and she's like, what happened? We're stronger together, blah, 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 blah. And Dakota Kai's like, yeah, but, yeah, calm down there, but you go win the Royal Rumble. We thought you could do this all by yourself. You're our fearless leader, right? Wink, wink. Yeah. And Damage Control goes off, and everyone else has that look of disgust on their face, which I love. And Bayley's like just left there. KO promo right now, he cuts it. He's like, hey, you want to consider this a weapon? Well, how about this? You next week, me and you on the Kevin Owens show. So it's going to be Logan Paul as a special guest. And Kevin's like, I would gladly like to see you. He's like, why would I say that? I hope to see you next week. So we're going to have that face-to-face. But I will say this. I just saw it in my notes here. Oh, Logan, sometimes, man, like sometimes he can be really great on that mic, and sometimes he could just be like, what? Like when he goes down, you remember that? And this time around, cheater, pumpkin eater? What the fuck? Logan. It's just as bad as sucker and succotash. Cheater, pumpkin. I was like, oh my God, for real? Did that really come out of his mouth? Did that really, that's gotta be a forever moment. I think I'm definitely gonna put that on TikTok just because I was like, oh, Logan, that hurt me. And I've been a big cheerleader for him too, so cheater, pumpkin eater, get the fuck out of here. Bobby Lashley comes out, the Street Profits too. They got some business to handle with Karrion Kross and his new group with the AOP and Paul and all of them. Now that group has a name, of Scarlet Cross AOP. There's a name for that group now. They are the Final Testament. I was like, what a metal name, the Final Testament. We got the Final Testament over here. Well, we have the Judgment Day over here collide with this group. But first is Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. And what I was seeing online, too, is The Pride is going to be Bobby and the Street Profits' name of the group, The Pride. So just, I don't know how I feel about that name. I'm like, okay. But that Final Testament name, I like that. And what's wrong with the Hurt Business? Business is back in order. We're going to hurt some people. Unless, the other baby faces, they really don't want to hurt people. But you get what I'm saying. So Bobby calls them out and says, hey, we handle things with our fists. They come out, the video package of Cross talking and says, hey, the most dangerous group, authors of pain, blah, blah, blah. And Cross is like, yes, and we are the Final Testament. And that's all we get. They don't come out, and Bobby and the Street Profits are like, okay, all right. And then we have Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory. Ref stoppage of this match. Oh, my God. Nasty landing, skull to skull with Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory. And this was becoming a really great match. I was like, oh, man, Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory. Sign me up. Take my money. Here it is, my wallet. I throw it at you. I know I'm watching it on TV, but God damn, I was ready for this match. And it was delivering on a bunch of levels, seeing some crazy stuff, seeing Carmelo Hayes do his thing, seeing Austin Theory do his thing, and then just a nasty spill in the corner. And you see them fall. It's just crash, and the ref is like, oh, shit. And refs stopped the match. I'm okay with that. It's all about the health and safety of these guys, and hopefully. And then Corey's like, hey, this is why you don't do this at home, kids. I think Austin Theory got the worst of it. I think Carmelo Hayes is okay, but yeah, they just came down really nasty, skull to skull, and I was like, shit, Then we got Paul backstage. And Pretty Deadly comes up, and they're like, hey, yes, boy, we'll help you. Let us help the bloodline. And then Paul just goes, well, tonight it's AJ Styles, and like Pretty Deadly, every time he says a name, they react to it like, oh. And then he goes, and LA Knight, and they're like, oh. Then they're like, and Randy Orton, they're like, you know what, Paul, we got something going on over here. And Paul's like, I love Pretty Deadly, man. I want more Pretty Deadly on my screen. More Pretty Deadly, please, WWE. More Pretty Deadly. That was just comedy gold right there with Paul Heyman. Oh, my goodness, man. Jimmy and Solo backstage. This is before the main event happens, and Paul comes, and Jimmy's like, here he goes. Wise man coming through, right? Well, who do we got? Who's helping the bloodline? And Paul's like, you know what? We don't need nobody. Blah, blah, blah. He's going off this thing, and Jimmy's reaction is like, hey, wait, what? No. He's like, you guys can take him on, and Solo just assures them, like, I'm not worried. And Jimmy's like, yeah, I'm not worried either. Let's go. Some great motivational speaking for each other, and they go out, and Randy's Orton music hits, and then I was like, this is some smart tactics here. Is Solo comes out and attacks Randy, hits him with a Samoan spike, and now it comes down to LA Knight, AJ Styles versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. But guess what? Randy Orton comes back. So what happens? Great match, fun match. Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles cut a little short, but I think it's just because of afterwards was a true beat down to the bloodline, and they put Solo through the table, all three of them working together. I'm hoping more friction between these three happen because they are in a fatal four-way at the Royal Rumble in a couple weeks. So come on. Yeah, folks, we're getting down to business. We are starting this year off hot. And Solo's through a table, Jimmy's over there, and this is the way we end the show with the bloodline being beat down with no Roman Reigns. And where does Solo and Jimmy's loyalty lie after such a horrendous act that Randy Orton and LA Knight, AJ Styles did to them, and their tribal chief was not there to save them? And of course, we end it with Paul Heyman with his phone saying, "Call Roman Reigns." But there we go. SmackDown, January 12th, 2024. Lincoln, Nebraska. Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves on commentary. What a show. 5 out of 5, man. SmackDown knows how to get this done, and it doesn't feel 2 hours whatsoever. I had a really great time, and my match of the night was Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo. I'm going to give Angel Humberto a 20th chance here. I've been shitting on them just because when they were in NXT, I was like, I'm so tired of these two. And then they did this whole package with like, we need to find our roots and stuff. But now that it was Santos, hopefully they can redeem themselves, because we've all been there. If you've been a long-time WWE fan, Humberto, he will not go away, nor Angel. So we'll see how this faction grows. But there we go. That's it. That's all. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell me what you think of the show. Drop those comments below. Share with your grandma, share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com, New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet NWP logo. More logos on the way. I'm looking at a few that I'm ready to drop. I kind of got locked out of my Pro Wrestling Tees shirt, Pro Wrestling Tees store for a bit, but I just had to reset the password and whatnot. So, but more designs to come. I'm approving a couple. So It's on the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone listening. Appreciate all the likes and subscribes. And thank y'all very much. We're starting this year off strong here at a Paper Saber Universe. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.